So baseball's 89th All-Star Game is coming up, and I think it's only right at this time to stop for a second. Take a look at the process, take a look at the game, figure out why we're doing things, and what we can do in the future to make it just a little bit better. All right, so four main things I want to look at here. The first being the word star, as in all-star. Does it stand for star power or star performer? What am I getting at here? Well, star power is like a popularity contest. Should we pick the players who are most favorable with the fans, the ones that play in the biggest markets and can garner the most vote totals? Maybe we should. Maybe that's what the all-star game is all about. But I think you look at baseball with enough stats to make your brain go numb. It's hard to me that we don't put all the numbers, all the stats in a computer and let it tell us who these star performers are, and all those players should be in the All-Star game. How would we do this? I don't know. I'm not an expert and I don't have it fully figured out, but I think you'd start with a position player. You might look at batting average, runs scored, runs batted in. Obviously, we need to consider fielding percentage and maybe one other category. Melt all those stats in together, average them out, and then come out with the player who ends up at the top of the list for each position. Then maybe what you do is invite the top two players in each league at each position. I think what baseball is doing right now is trying to find that perfect mix of a hybrid. The most popular players mixed with the best players, and that's how they get at the word star in All-Star Game. But again, what does star stand for? Does it stand for star power or star performer? Number two, how are we accounting for an All-Star here in 2018? Does the second half of 2017 play into that at all? Should it? I don't know. As of right now, you'd think a lot of times the voting does consider that. But for me, if you're having an All-Star Game here in 2018, it's not fair to only look at the players who have stood out here in the first half of this baseball season. You also have to go to the second half of last season. Otherwise, this All-Star Game is strictly a first half All-Star Game, and what notoriety is there in that? Number three, how can we make this game relevant? As we all know, for a couple recent years, the winner of the All-Star Game would have home field advantage in that year's World Series, so obviously the American or National League had something to benefit from the Midsummer Classic to the Fall Classic. They've taken that away. Right now, what's everybody playing for? I mean, I know what players are doing to get to the All-Star Game. They want that on their resume. But as for succeeding in the game itself, making it interesting, like there really is nothing out there. I would propose something simple. Let's have rewards for the winning team in the form of charitable donations, maybe $10,000 to each player on the winning team going to the charity of their choice. I think that would put a whole lot more on the line. You'd hear individual stories, you'd hear great causes, you'd see money going to something very valuable. I think that's a way to get players invested in the game, not just getting to the All-Star Game, but making the contest itself worth watching. And number four, the final thing we need to figure out here is, and look me in the eye for a second. No, I'll wait, look me right in the eye. Are you actually going to be watching every single at-bat, every inning of this year's All-Star Game? Come on, don't lie. Look me in the eye. You know the answer to that is no. Nobody's gonna do that. It's just not something that captivates us, and I understand. Like my last point, there's nothing that gets everybody invested in this game. So why not completely tear this thing down, rip it up, reconstruct it into something better, something worth watching. You know, tradition stands for a lot of reasons, but this tradition has been relatively untouched in many, many decades. And maybe it's about time right now that we have nothing to lose, that we should experiment and just see how some experiments go. So now that I put this whole thing in a blender, tell me what you think in the comments section below. Did I get it right? Am I wrong in a lot of areas? I'd love to know what you're thinking. Also, hey, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. A thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you feel so inclined. And don't forget to check out all the other great stuff here on the channel. I hope you enjoy.